So Ben, as we stand here, it's a week until that first pre-season game. So what's the main focuses at the minute when you're down at the tent?
Yeah, I think obviously we're still a few weeks away from that first Champo game. So, we're not all, raring to go and kind of 100% ready just yet. We're still building up to things in the tent, bowlers and batters. So, yeah, I think it's, not to get too carried away and frustrated at this point because there's still plenty of time. But yeah, obviously when we get to next week, it'll be nice for a few of the batters to spend some time out there. And, I think the main thing for the bowlers this time of the year is to get some miles in the legs and, get back to bowling outdoors.
We've seen in the past few days as well that there's been a few more match scenario kind of sessions you've been getting involved with down there. How's that change it for you really, that there's then a bit more of a price on what you're doing in the tent?
Yeah, it's obviously good because, yesterday I got a good ball, second ball nicked off, and then you have to walk to the back of the tent. So, you're batting for your wicket, and obviously you don't want to be waiting for another 40 minutes till you're hitting. So there's a bit on it, obviously batters v bowlers there. So, there's a bit going on there, but I think it's great for the bowlers. Obviously sometimes in a net session you can just kind of drift through it and, there's not as much on it. So I think when everyone's watching like that in the tent and there's a bit more on it, I think the skill level goes up.
In terms of what we saw today, we saw you batting with Joe Clarke in the nets. Must always be an enjoyable experience, really. How does that work with you two together in there?
Yeah, we obviously get on well away from cricket, so it's always nice spending time. Obviously last year we did a little bit. Obviously we know each other, extremely well. So I know when he's struggling, he knows when I'm struggling, and we know when to sort of say things to each other in that sense. But it's obviously nice for him to be back.
And obviously, while it's not nice to be maybe nicking off in a competitive game down there or whatever, you've got the bowlers coming at you, the likes of maybe Liam Patterson-White and some players who are less experienced than you may be. What role can you play at the other end, really, while they're bowling to you?
Well, I think obviously, the conditions I've played around the world and stuff, for someone like Pato, for example, a young spinner, I always try and test him, and I'll question him on where his field placings are and sort of why he's bowling that, what his pace is, kind of thing. And I think that's, I'm sure that goes on with all the other players with the seamers and stuff. But yeah, I think it's great for those guys to be sort of bowling at, the guys in the first team and hopefully picking their brains as much as they can.
We saw Ant Botha giving you a few hints and tips from something he'd filmed as well during the session. How does that kind of instant feedback work for you?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty stubborn at times, so I did go to boats today. Obviously I came back from the T10 and kind of straight into the Red Bull stuff, and I just felt like some things weren't feeling right over the last week or two, and I went up to him today and he just gave me a couple of things that I spent hours and hours and hours with him last winter. He was throwing at me for 6 months last winter, so he's seen me sort of inside out. And the other thing on that is it's quite nice to actually see yourself. Obviously he showed me a bit of footage and straight away I saw something was different and you can correct it. So you can always have people telling you stuff, but I think it's so important to be able to get footage of yourself so you can see it yourself and correct that. And obviously after that, I made a couple of little changes. Won't say what they are or what the weaknesses were, but from there I felt much better.
Is that quite a big adaptation as well, that your last competitive cricket would have been in the T10 and then the next stuff will be some 4-day red ball out here? Yeah,
there's so much time in between the two, so I think nowadays people who play all three formats, you're kind of used to going from slogging the ball one day to sort of knuckling down with the red ball the next. So yeah, for me that's not really a problem. As I've said in the past, that my game doesn't really change too much, throughout the formats. Obviously T10's a little bit more hectic, so it does a little bit there. But as I say, I've got a few weeks to get ready for the first game.
In terms of that time in Abu Dhabi, having had such a successful T20 season at Trent Bridge last year, how was the challenge of adapting that to but even shorter form?
Yeah, it was a challenge. It was a great competition. The standard was good, and for someone like myself, who I like to give myself a bit of time in T20 cricket. Out there you have no time. You've got to go from ball one. So I was learning a few things. You learn in different areas where you can hit. And more than anything, you back yourself. If even myself, if an off spinner or a left arm spinner comes on, you've got to go. Then, back myself to go from ball one and try and score. So it's something that's interesting in that sense. A little bit like the Lancashire game on finals day. I was, to open, and they, my role was, if the left arm spinner bowled, to take him down. And obviously, there's little things like that you can take forward. So yeah, it was a great experience being out there.
And with Kumar Sangakkara in the camp as well, what kind of things could you pick up from him?
Yeah, obviously legend of a game, and I actually spent quite a bit of time with him. I think, we had a couple of net sessions and picked his brain a little bit. But to be honest, it's such a short comp out there, and as soon as the games come in, it all comes pretty thick and fast. So it was more nice just to have kind of a drink with him off the pitch and listen to a few stories that he has. And a legend of a game is something that you'll never forget.
And with a few outlaws dotted across that competition as well, you'll have come up against the likes of Samit in games, from teammates to opponents every now and again. What's that like when you're out there?
Yeah, I mean, I love playing Samit. I've always enjoyed facing him, and to be honest, he bowled an over at me and Clarke. He brought himself on in the power play, I think, and he bowled a good over, and he probably had one up on us there. So I was a bit gutted with that. But yeah, it's obviously nice to, and also a bit strange to play some of your mates in those competitions.